Hey everybody, Kelly's Group. Hi, Kelly's Group. I was inspired to make a video for you guys because, Kelly has inspired me so much and taught me so much. And she's been posting some things about the energy and how difficult it is. And I just want to share with you guys something I do when I got some difficult energy to deal with that's been really, really helping me. I haven't really had the full moon that happened most recently, there were definitely a few days when I was like feeling some big cosmic energy, and a couple days after that was where I was feeling some big cosmic energy. So this is a video about what I do, and it's called emotional shifting, and it's a process that has combined from a few different sources, but the way it works is it allows us to feel the uncomfortable frequencies inside of us and shift them into different states that actually allow our natural, joyous, loving, unconditional self to come through. So I just thought I would share with you guys and see what you think and see if you like it and see if you want to try. I teach some of my clients this, but I've never put this in a video, so I'd like to see how that goes. That's part of the reason I'm doing this. All right, so here's what happened. Here's the basic premise. Emotional shifting is a process that we can use to let our natural selves come through. And why isn't our natural selves coming through all the time? It's because we're carrying around a lot of mental and emotional resistance to the world. And mental resistance in the forms of judgments and expectations and mental projections, and emotional resistance in the form of frequencies that we've held on to in our emotional system from when we were a kid or from past lives, and we held on to these frequencies because we made a decision in a moment of great emotional shock that that the world was a shocking place, and to be safe from the world, we need to hold on to kind of this rule about how the world works, and that frequency gets stuck inside us. Like you can imagine, being a kid, and you're speaking in a restaurant, and one of your parents yells at you for being loud in a restaurant, and your parent says, "But stop! Like, you can't be loud in public places!" Like, shh, and you get like this real shock, this emotional shock. Your parents are just like, no harm meant by it. And it's not like it was a life-threatening situation, but it was an emotional shock that froze a frequency inside of you that said, "Don't be heard in public places." And now maybe every time you get up to do some public speaking, or you raise your hand to ask a question in a group, or you think about making a video like this, and you get terrified. And why do you get terrified? Where does this discomfort come from? There's nothing rational about it, obviously, right? You're not in actual danger. Why does it feel so scary? Well, because you have this frequency that froze inside of you that said, "Don't be loud in public, don't be seen in public." So these energies are inside of us all the time, and they're blocking our natural flow. And when things like the full moon happen, or these cosmic energies come through that Kelly's been talking about that are really difficult to deal with, it's not that the energies, those cosmic things, like somehow cause us like difficulty out of nowhere. These cosmic things are like assholes. Like, these cosmic energy is just a bunch of assholes getting in our system. No, what happens is they create a frequency that kicks up inside of us the things we already have in there. This is just like no person can give you an emotion. The language we use around emotions fools us a lot. We say like, "That person made me angry." No, that didn't happen. What happened is that person did something, and because of the stuff you have inside, it triggered anger in you. Another person, like, someone else besides you in that same scenario might not feel anger, might feel something, something different. And that's because of what they have in them. So no one can give us emotions. The cosmic energies can't give us these difficult feelings. They're inside of us. And things we experience in our life, they trigger these things inside of us. So what do? Well, okay, finally, 4 minutes into this video, I'll give you the process. So the process involves 4 different kind of elements that we use, like, personal skills that we apply into the situation. The first one is our intention. So whenever we create an intention, we craft like an energetic framework for an experience to take place, right? It's a very, very powerful tool, our intention. So our intention when we do an emotional shifting is to we intend to feel everything we need to feel, everything that wants to come up inside of us, and we intend to shift it in a way that allows our natural self, our natural loving self, to come through in the moment and beyond. So we just create that intention. The second thing we use is our breathing. And breathing is a physical mechanism, obviously, that we do all the time. It also happens to be one of the most powerful physical ways we can enter a spiritually expanded state. I mean, the more I learn about breathing, the more deeper I get into breath work, it turns out the thing we do all the time is also one of the most powerful ways to get deeper into our spirit. And I don't think that's any coincidence. Okay, we did that for ourselves. We stacked the decks in our favor when we were coming to be human, you know? Because before being human, we were like, oh man, we're about to go, look at that, like being human so crazy. You don't remember that you're a god, you don't feel spirit all the time, you have to deal with all these fucking challenges, you're afraid for your life all the time. It's freaking crazy. How do we make how do we stack the decks in our favor so we can remember who we are and access all our energies? Well, breathing is one of them. Breathing, this most natural process, is so powerful. So we use breathing, and I'll explain how. The next thing we use is our attention, our awareness. So our awareness is like the spotlight of our, consciousness, and that spotlight is extremely powerful. That spotlight alone can shift things and transform things. So we use our awareness to do emotional shifting, and I'll explain how. And then the final thing is love. So right alongside that like pure consciousness awareness spotlight energy is our natural loving energy that we can bring into any situation. And often one of the quickest ways to shift any emotion is to bring love into that emotion while you're feeling it, like anger, fear, sadness. While you're feeling those difficult things, you can bring in love, and it feels a lot better. It's a lot easier to handle, and the emotion can flow through you. So what's the actual process? How do we do it? We do it by getting in a quiet place, sitting in a quiet place, and setting that intention that I talked about, to feel everything that needs to be felt and to shift our emotion, our frequencies in a way that serves our highest good and allows our natural, joyous, loving self to flow through. Then we start breathing. And we start breathing in a way where we're filling up. I'm going to tell you what I do. This is what I do, and I said this is a process that I kind of cobbled together from a bunch of different sources I can put in the comments. But the way, there are many different ways you can use the breath. The way I use it is I really fill up my stomach. I bring the air all the way down into my stomach, as deep as it can go, kind of like the bottom of my stomach, where like the chi area is, the dantian, and I'm just breathing that, I'm filling that up with air. And so I'm deep breathing in my stomach, and I'm focusing my attention now, the third element, on that spot where I'm adding air. And I'm really, so the breathing does a few things. First, it oxygenates our body, which creates a bunch of physiological changes that aid this process. Second, it's activating our stomach muscles in a way where our stomach is acting kind of like an energetic pump. I'll explain more about that later, because you might laugh or you might cry during this process, and that laughter and crying, if you notice what happens in your body, both of those physiological behaviors create this like stomach pump action that's happening. Like your stomach is flexing in a very fast consecutive manner when you laugh or when you cry. And what I personally believe, and I haven't really heard this anywhere, but this is just my experience, when we have that stomach pump happening, we pump energy up our body, like kind of up our central channel, and we can move emotions through our body and like kind of up and out. I've had many experiences of emotions like sitting in my body and then just moving like up my body and out, and especially heat coming up and out of my body when I'm doing this process. So the stomach pump is actually a physical part of this process, and we're starting to activate that stomach pump with the breathing. And so we do the intention, we do the breathing, we are focusing our awareness is the third item down on where we're extending our stomach with the breath. Now, while you do this, emotions will start to come up. Maybe you're having an emotion already before you went and sat down. That's a perfect time to practice this. Or maybe you do this like I do every morning, and you aren't sure what emotions are going to come up that day, so you're just looking for the emotions. So maybe if you feel one already, you don't have to find one. But if you don't feel one already, you can look in your body. Where is there tension? So you're using your awareness simultaneously while holding it on the lower stomach. You just see your body. Is there any tension? Are there any emotions that want to come up? And then maybe you'll notice that you start thinking about something that's been bothering you. Okay, and behind that thought is an emotion. is an emotion that is emotional frequency that's disturbing you in your system. Or behind the tension, maybe you have tension in your shoulder, maybe you have pain in your side. Behind that pain is an emotion. And so you can notice the thoughts or notice the pain and ask yourself, what is the emotion behind this? And you will find an emotion come up in your body. Our emotions are stored kind of like physically all over our body. All of our cells have the capacity to kind of hold an energetic frequency. So you find the emotion in your body, or you're having the emotion already. And what you want to do is you want to let it come as strongly as it can possibly come. So it takes a little bit of trust in yourself that you can handle it, because the reason that this emotion is in your system is because you've never fully even felt it before. Remember when you had the original emotional shock that kind of froze it, you decided like, oh, this is really difficult to handle, this is like a scary situation, I don't know what to do with all this, I'm going to just close it down, freeze it, make a rule about it for how I should live my life, store it for later. Well, now is the later. Now is the time it's being kicked up by the universe, by your circumstances, and that's on purpose. You chose for that to happen, because when it gets kicked up, you get to see it. You get to see what you're still holding inside of yourself. So we get these things kicked up, and then we can, we're feeling them, and we want to feel them totally fully. We want to keep the breathing going. So now we're using our awareness to hold on our breathing and feel the emotion fully. Now, when this emotion comes up in your body, it might feel uncomfortable in your body. It might feel like heat. It might feel like constriction in your neck. It might feel like nervousness in the belly. There's like a million ways it could come up. Whatever you feel is 100% valid. So this stuff's going to come up in you, and you're going to just focus on it and feel it as strongly as you can. And in order to get all the information from it, because this is data about what you're carrying around. These feelings are how you interact with the data in your energy field. So you're pulling this information up from you, and you want to start interacting with it. So once you feel it really strongly, you want to see what the data is contained. So you want to let it make you feel everything it has to make you feel. And every time you feel something, you want to say thank you and I love you. And if you want to, you can say infinite love and gratitude, which is a phrase that comes from one of the books I'll link below, one of the sources that is part of this process. So you can, whatever it makes you feel, you want to thank it for being there. It's showing you something about yourself, some part of yourself you've never totally felt and never totally brought love to. All right, so that's leading us into a little foreshadowing there. But before we get to that part, when you're feeling this emotion all the way, start letting it make you feel everything it wants you to feel, and let this emotion show you with visions whatever it wants to make you see. Very often I see myself this emotion shows me a picture of myself in like an uncomfortable gesture, pushing something away or afraid of something or crouched, right? And or it'll show me it'll show a version of me pacing. Very often it will be a child version of myself that it shows me, right? So you want to feel everything the emotion wants you to feel. You want to see everything the emotion wants you to see. Maybe it'll just be colors or whatever. But your subconscious and your brain can translate this emotional energy into a vision, and it's part of the communication of what's going on in your body. And you want to hear everything this emotion wants you to hear. So you can talk to this part of yourself. If you see a part of yourself, for example, and you can say, what do you want to say? What are the words you want to say? What's the message you have for me? And you want to let the feelings come, let the visions come, let the words come. And whatever the emotion shows you, says to you, makes you see, you want to say, thank you, I love you, thank you, you're welcome. You're welcome to be here. It's okay for you to be here. I love you, thank you. It's a part of you. You created this. You created this in your energy field. At some point you made a choice to hold this in your energy field. So this is like a child. This is like one of your children. You created this thing, and it's in there, and when circumstances kick it up, it just wants to be felt and loved. That's all it wants. It wants to be seen and felt and loved. That's why we have the awareness. And that's why every time you say thank you, I love you, you're bringing in the love at the same time. That fourth thing that we want to bring in. You're bringing in the love. And if you just stay doing that, the breathing into the stomach, and sometimes you'll notice your breathing gets faster or slower. Very often what will happen to me is I'm feeling, I'm hearing, I'm seeing, and my breathing faster, and all of a sudden I get to a spot where it flips over, and I'll cry or I'll laugh for just like a few seconds. I'll cry or I'll laugh, And then I'll go back to feeling the emotion and talking to the emotion and seeing the emotion. So you just do that. You just hold your awareness on the emotion and whatever it wants you to see, feel, or hear. And you say, I thank you. And you say, I love you. And you keep your breathing going in your stomach. And maybe you'll feel like you want to cry. Maybe you feel like you want to laugh. Those are all parts of the physiological release, getting that stomach pump happening. And if you just do that, if you just hold that and just stay there in this process of talking with the emotion, thanking it, breathing, and feeling it, you not only get amazing insights without even having to try, without even having to analyze the emotion. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to figure out why this happened. It will tell you. It will show you all the information you need. So not only will you get amazing insights, but if you hold it long enough, you will notice that the emotion starts to shift. Maybe you'll actually see the memory, like the original memory that the emotion is attached to you from when you were a kid or whatever. You'll notice the memory starts to shift. So as you feel and breathe and welcome and thank and love and see and feel and breathe and hear and welcome and thank and love, and you're holding this space and maybe you're crying a little bit, maybe you're laughing a little bit, but you're feeling all this in your body, you will notice that it starts to shift into a more like a softer, starts to feel softer and softer, and it'll start to feel neutral, and then eventually it'll actually start to feel positive. Eventually you'll feel like a lightness inside yourself. You'll feel like if your experience is similar to mine, you'll feel like you'll literally feel a freedom in the moment on the other side of this difficult emotions you have. Once you see it and love it as much as it needs and feel it as much as it needs, you'll kind of like pass through onto this other side where this vision of you and this part of you is actually just feels more free. And very often, once I get to that point, and you'll know when it happens, once I get to that point, I actually literally ask this part of me, are you ready to be free? And when it says yes, I know I've felt enough. And if it says no, then I know that there's more to feel and hear and love. But if it says yes, I literally will envision it dissolving into light or going into my heart, And I'm saying to it as, like, thank you so much for holding this frequency, trying to keep us safe all this time, holding this emotion inside of us. Well, now you're free, and I'm going to take care of this, and thank you so much for being there, and I love you. And it shifts, it dissolves, and all of a sudden, like, after I do this process, if I wake up in the morning, I'm a little bit down, or I'm a little not sure what's going on, or the full moon is messing with me. After doing this, sometimes it takes 10 minutes, sometimes it takes 45 minutes, but in the end, I just feel so much more free and light and in love with life. And that's the kind of what I'm hoping can happen for you, especially when all these uncomfortable, the energies come in, because, no longer do I feel like we need to be like such at the mercy of these energies. We need to be like we're buffeted by them, and these energies are coming, and we're just getting like messed up in our lives, and like we're like everything is going wrong and all this. No, all of this is information. All of this is kicking our own information up for us to see, to feel, and love like at a level that we never did before. That's why it's still in there, and that's what this emotional shifting process allows us to do. And hopefully, just like for you, just like for me, it has helped me just fall so much more in love with my life and feel so much more free over and over time. I do it every morning. Some days I find emotions, some days I don't. Most of the days I do. And it's always an extremely insightful process. So try it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this video. Did it make sense? I would love to hear your thoughts. It's much longer than I thought it was going to be, but hopefully you guys made it to the end. Anybody who made it to the end, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And I love being part of this tribe. I look forward to seeing you guys next time I'm in the UK. Until then, much love. Talk to you soon.